What a busy weekend I had. Fixed part of the Bobcat, had more trouble with the Bobcat, doing a big farm project, kind of a nature project that I think you'll be interested in. Got some video of that, as a matter of fact, and a myriad of other projects that I can't even begin to tell you right now. If you want to know about all that, stay tuned and I'll tell you about it right after this. Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop. It is Monday, August 22nd. And as I said in that little intro, I had one busy weekend. I got the Bobcat, well actually it was the backhoe attachment that was a problem for the Bobcat, and I got that cylinder rebuilt, tested out, and so far the backhoe's working perfectly. You know, I learned to throttle the Bobcat down to operate that backhoe better now, because that Bobcat pumps a lot more fluid. And so it was operating so fast that it was really hard to control that backhoe. It was just swinging so fast. So I throttled it down and that works much better. Dug out a giant stump on a food plot area. In fact, I put in 3 food plots. After I got the stump out of there, I leveled everything off, and then I took the disc and went over 3 different food plots, disked that all up, then took the Bobcat and skimmed all the junk off the top, the weeds and everything off the top, and then disked it again, all 3 food plots. Each one of the food plots is I'm just going to say roughly a 1/4 acre. So one of them's probably close to a 1/2 acre. So all total, roughly an acre of food plots. So I'm putting that out for the deer, the turkey, and if it happens to draw in a wild hog or two and happens to draw in a coyote or two, I'm not going to be disappointed. Because that's mostly what I'm setting out there for, is to shoot the doggone wild hogs. And those of you who, you know, hate the hunting idea and all that, I understand that. I'm a meat eater. I cannot eat vegetables. So too bad, so sad. You'll just have to get over it. The other thing that I did this weekend was I went back there and saw a pond that I had started building about, gosh, it's at least 15 years ago, maybe closer to 20. It's a spring-fed pond, and I had the spring diverted around the pond that I was digging, and was almost finished with the pond, and then of course it came a giant rain and filled the pond in, and you know, just messed up everything I had going on there, and I couldn't work on it anymore. So I just lost interest in it. So I just let it kind of go wild like it is, and I mean, it held water and everything, and I threw a few fish in it. Never expected them to live, because it wasn't very deep. It was only a few feet deep. Well, then the weeds took over really bad. Well, I was back there this weekend working on those food plots, and I drove by that, and I noticed that there was a lot of fish swimming around on the surface. And I say a lot, like as in 20, 30 fish I could see. And the water's really clear. You can see all the way to the bottom because it's spring-fed, and it's not that deep. So the weeds had taken over most of it. There was barely any water that you could actually see flat surface, you know. It was mostly water in between weeds. So anyway, the bottom line is, I thought I'm going to have to fix that dam and get that where that water can build up. So now I did do that. I took the Bobcat and, you know, opened up the place where the dam was leaking, kind of dug that out a little bit, and then plugged it so that the water couldn't keep running out there. And then added another foot or so to the height of the dam. So the water's already come up, I'd say it's come up at least, you know, just actual rise, probably about a foot, but that causes it to spread out a lot. So the water has spread out exponentially, and it's probably about a foot deeper than it was. So I'm sure the fish are very happy, and it has room to come up another probably 2 feet. So the water can probably be about 5 feet deep when we're done, and that's plenty deep. And I have a video to show you what that looks like back there, so take a look at this. Just this weekend, I worked on this pond to let it start filling back up. It's spring fed, and the spring comes out from under that big oak tree there. Actually, it's a little bit in front of it, right about in there. And it runs down in here and it fills this pond. Just Saturday, the water was back to where these plants are. So you can see it's filling up a lot. It really almost had no water on the surface. It was just all plants. And I started noticing a bunch of fish in there. And I had put fish in there about 15 years ago or so when I first started digging the pond. And I didn't expect them to live, but I had put them in there. Well, there's a lot of fish in here. I actually probably saw 30 or 40 just swimming around on the surface. And I could tell that they were running low on water, you know. So what had happened was the dam had been breached right about in there. The water was just running out and running down this ditch line that's over here and running on out into the other creek. And so when I saw those fish, I thought, you know, I need to build this dam back up. So I've added a good foot of height to the dam so the water can come up another, probably 2 feet now before I have to get a spillway in here. I'm going to have to get a pipe or something to let the water transfer through. My original plan was to dig this much deeper, but what happened was there came a big rain just about the time I was getting close to finishing it. There came a big rain, filled it in. I couldn't work anymore, and I just got frustrated with it and quit on it. So it's really been 15 years or more since I've worked on this. But now that the fish are in here, I thought, you know, I need to go ahead and just at least fill the dam in, and I can always build this dam up a little bit more to get some more depth. I had planned to make it about 8 feet deep. Well, now it's probably only going to be a maximum of about 5 feet deep at the most. Maybe not even quite that deep. But that's deep enough with the spring fed and everything. The water won't get real cold in the wintertime. The fish will be able to survive no problem at all because of the spring-fed water. Let's go over here. By the way, I could drive the Bobcat through here yesterday, so this is filled up a lot, where I doubt I could even get the Bobcat between here now. Anyway, see if I can show you where the actual spring is and the water that's coming out. It's not a huge spring, although it does run faster at some times of the year. Yeah, it's running pretty good. You can see the water coming out here. And it's year-round. It never dries up. It's not a huge spring by any stretch, but it's enough to fill that pond. And this will be a great place for ducks and things. It's not a very big pond, but on the other hand, it's big enough.
Hope you enjoyed taking a look at the pond there, and that I think that's going to be a real bonus for the wildlife back in that area. I mean, the deer, the turkey, all the wildlife, really, all the critters, especially like the ducks and things like that. There were a few ducks that would land on it anyway, but now that it's going to be much bigger, I think the ducks will really like it because it's back in the back part of the farm and it's not disturbed very often, so the ducks and the wildlife will really love it. In addition to all of that, the Bobcat started acting up on me. When I was working on the backhoe and fixing all that up, I decided to go ahead and pull the Bobcat in there and do a big service on it. So I changed all the filters, cleaned it up real good, actually washed it down real good, greased it real well, all that. Well, when I was out there working on that pond with the Bobcat, I started losing power. And the error codes on the Bobcat say that the charge filter is plugged. Well, I just put a brand new filter on it. So I'm beginning to wonder if that filter that I put on there, it was a cheap one, cut rate one or something, because I did buy it off of eBay. And I bought a whole filter kit for the price of that one filter, actually. Because I went to town to see if I could get a new filter. And they were $91 just for that one filter. It's like, are you kidding me? So I'm going to put the old filter back on it and test it and see if I start, if that gets rid of my problem. And if it does get rid of my problem, well, then I'll spend the $90 and get a good filter. But right now, I don't know what to do with that. So as always, I got some kind of mechanical problem. And if all of that wasn't enough, I also installed a Roku on the rental retreat television up there and got the internet working with that. So that's working better so that people that come in for the rental retreat now will at least have internet television up there, which in the past all we had was DVDs. Speaking of rental property, we also have Caleb's old place all fixed up. Sue's done a wonderful job. It looks really beautiful. In fact, I'll show you a picture of that right here now too. Hope you enjoyed seeing those pictures. We bought a Roku TV for that apartment as well, and it's up and working real well too. So I got that all installed this weekend. So I had a busy weekend. But honestly, I'm so far behind on everything, I don't know which ends up. I've got instruments waiting on me to work on. I've got videos waiting on me to do. I just, wow. Wish me luck. We'll see you tomorrow.